Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I hope this finds you well and staying cool during this summer. Our reading today is from the Gospel according to Mark. When Jesus crossed again in the boat to the other side, a large crowd gathered around him, and he stayed close to the sea. One of the synagogue officials, named Jairus, came forward. Seeing him, he fell at his feet and pleaded earnestly with him, saying, "My daughter is at the point of death. Please come, lay your hands on her, that she may get well and live." He went off with him, and a large crowd followed him and pressed upon him. There was a woman afflicted with hemorrhages for 12 years. She had suffered greatly at the hands of her doctors and spent all that she had. Yet she was not helped, but only grew worse. She had heard about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak. She said, "If I but touch his clothes, I shall be cured." Immediately her flow of blood dried up. She felt in her body that she was healed of her affliction. Jesus, at once aware that power had gone out from him, turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who has touched my clothes?" But the disciples said to Jesus, "You see how the crowd is pressing upon you, and yet you asked, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see who had done it. The woman, realizing what had happened to her, approached in fear and trembling. She fell down before Jesus and told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." While he was still speaking, people from the synagogue official's house arrived and said, "Your daughter has died. Why trouble the teacher any longer?" Disregarding the message that was reported, Jesus said to the synagogue official, "Do not be afraid, just have faith." He did not allow anyone to accompany him inside except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they arrived at the house of the synagogue official, he caught sight of a commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. So he went in and said to them, "Why this commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but asleep." And they ridiculed him. Then he put them all out. He took along the child's father and mother and those who were with him, and entered the room where the child was. He took the child by the hand and said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." The girl, a child of 12, arose immediately and walked around. At that, they were utterly astounded. He gave strict orders that no one should know this, and said that she should be given something to eat. The Gospel of the Lord. About 3 years ago, a good friend and fellow parishioner of mine passed away from cancer. He was an all-around handyman and volunteer at St. Robert's. You could always count on him to jump in and help out, especially when it came to anything related to woodworking or carpentry. Frank always reminded me a lot of my own grandfather, who was a master carpenter. There was one thing you could always expect from Frank: a big smile and a warm handshake. And I don't mean a simple, perfunctory, and quick clasping of hands, not a kind of cool, limp handshake. I mean a hearty, two-handed grip, like you meant it. Firm and slightly crushing handshake. When Frank shook your hand, you knew it was coming from his heart and his soul. It meant something special to him, and he wanted you to know how special you were to him. We all know the value and the meaning of gestures like that. That pat on the back that encourages, that strong handshake of friendship, the gentle touch of love on the cheek, that two-handed grasp of the shoulders that imparts comfort and blessing. We all know that touch. And over these past 15 months of pandemic and social distancing, we all missed that touch. Truth be told, I think we've come to value it so much more now that we can finally offer, for instance, the sign of peace at Mass and that loving hug to family and friends. Gestures of love and friendship that have been so long overdue. In today's gospel, we hear of not one, but two miracles: the cure of the woman with the 12-year hemorrhage and the raising of Jairus' daughter. In both cases, the miracles occur through a simple touch of the hand. For the woman, it was a touch of faith, the belief that she could be cured by merely touching Jesus. With Jairus, Jesus takes his daughter by the hand and brings her back to life. Touch, a gentle touch of faith, a touch of love and compassion, a touch of healing and rebirth. There used to be an old AT&T commercial about reach out and touch someone. If we haven't already done so, maybe this is exactly the time for all of us to reach out. We have all missed that physical contact, that visible sign of friendship, of love, and support. And if we're missing it, then our loved ones and our family members have been missing it too. So take the time today, reach out with a gentle touch. Let your family and friends know you were thinking of them, how much you have missed them, how much you care for them. And in the process of touching their hand, we can also touch their heart. Great Spirit, I ask you today, help us all to be more loving and compassionate, to step out of our comfort zone and reach out to others, to be a gentle, caring person, a person of faith who sees the hurt in others and is willing to be a source of healing and faith to them. Amen. Aho. Be well, be safe.